You're about to get a breakthrough, Aries. Now, what is that breakthrough? We're still going to find out. We're going to learn. We're going to listen. We're going to go in depth. Let's see. All I know is that there was a huge dark night of the soul. I would say probably 2019, right? A couple years back, maybe last year for you. But ultimately, you've been going through some shit, right? And there's a lot of awakening that's going on now. Realization, basically from being thrown on our ass and made a little bit tougher, seeing things from the more from the perspective of what's happening to me instead of from the perspective of what's happening to me to what can I do about it? You know what I'm saying? So there's just a sense of like all your shit being caught up, right? And now things are changing. Things are starting to go your way because of a decision that you made, something that you asserted. You asserted yourself, and you're starting to see it come to fruition. The world as you like it, despite other people not really liking it, or whatever they got to say, They will say, they will blare it out. They will say what they need to say, but it's basically you not giving a shit, and instead prioritizing your own set of values, your own sense of self-worth, like what you saw your life being, versus what you were living, and then going out there and living the life according to you, and that meant sacrifice. That actually it meant hardship for you. It meant maybe leaving old ways or old people behind. It meant incurring the wrath of people who were jealous of you, people who were angry with you, people who depended on you to stay the same in order for their lives to stay the same, and suddenly they blame that shit on you instead of blaming it on themselves. Like, when do you get to lift off the burden of your happiness off your shoulders and put it onto mine? When the fuck did that ever happen? And who the hell said you were allowed to do that? But people do it. They get real comfortable, especially especially when they have somebody who's broad-shouldered. And I'm telling you right now, ask anybody, ask any astrologer. Aries are broad-shouldered, males and females. It's one of their physical characteristics that's quite, no matter how tall or short they are, they're broad-shouldered. Aries are broad-shouldered. They're strong. They're athletic. Their bodies are just built that way. And yeah, I don't give a shit if you're 300 pounds or 30. I think the bottom line is you're broad-shouldered and generally strong. And it's for the reason that that you hold and house so much energy. And people in your life know that, man. They fucking know it. And they know whatever they throw at you, your reaction is quick. You're a cardinal sign, you're a fire cardinal sign. So your reaction is quick. It's okay, I'm just gonna take care of it. You're gonna throw it on Aries and they'll just take care of it. Because you're moving so fast, you'd rather keep moving fast instead of stop to say, don't throw your shit on me. But recently, the blessing of your retrograde happened last October, and it was a chance for you to see all the shit being thrown your way. That was not your responsibility, because it was a slowing down period where you weren't inclined, or you couldn't rush through everything, right? So there was that awakening and realization of, what am I doing? How much extra work have I been doing that I didn't realize I was doing? Because other people were more than happy to make me shoulder it, or and this is a personal responsibility you have to take, because I wasn't willing to slow down enough to delegate work or to trust that other people could handle it. And I was continuously shouldering too much for myself because I wanted to be in control of it all. Either way, your shoulders got broader and you got heavier because you were taking on way too much bullshit. And if you felt, especially over the past couple of years, your happiness waning, it is because of all the extra weight. You know, it's like, how fast can you keep moving when you keep taking on 100 pounds a minute? You can't keep going a mile a minute when you keep taking on 100 pounds a minute, you know, because that's 100 extra pounds that you have to like take onto yourself and shoulder the weight, shoulder the burden. So there's a lot. There's just been a lot that you have been shouldering. And I think a lot recently that you have allowed to take off your shoulders and realize, I don't have to deal with that. And a decision that you have made that I would say pissed a lot of people off, because nowadays shit is sitting in the street and nobody's carrying it anymore. Too bad. Not your problem. Not your problem, Aries. And that's basically what you said. And so, yeah, a lot of people are irritated. A lot of people maybe are disappointed, have something to say, have commentary to throw your way. But the worst commentary that you really have to watch out for is your own. You know, because there are some people that helter-skelter, whatever, it doesn't really matter. Our relationship with them dictates that we can't just sort of leave their shit out in the street, right? And so if we've done that, or if we had to do that, or had to call them out on their shit, we still feel bad about it. You know, your mother, your father, you know, like people that matter. But at the same time, you still getting too comfortable with my shoulders being your beast of burden, you know? It's not that you don't love somebody or even respect them. It's that sometimes you got to call people on their shit. So ultimately, Aries, there has been a shifting of a lot of crap and a backlash from that. And this coming up right now, I would say, could be up to the next 2 months, to be honest with you. But this is sort of like the coming out the other side of that, you know, of starting to realize what a great decision you made when you decided to make those shifts and make those changes. And maybe you haven't seen any benefits of that yet, but now you're going to start to see it. And I have to say, and I don't do this normally, I only do it when the cards dictate that I do it. And that I will talk romance with you in this reading specifically, because I do your specific romance reading in the extended. But there are romantic nuances here. There's a breakthrough here when it comes to romance. And now wherever you are in your journey romantically, if you're single, you about to meet motherfucker. You about to meet somebody that is going to make you not single. If you are in a relationship that makes you happy, you will be moving forward with that relationship, whether or not people from the outside agree. And if you are in a long-term relationship, there is sort of like a recommitment. So there is definitely like romance that's happening in your life, and and I think it's a breakthrough, because finding love is difficult as an Aries. So much of it is often caught up in just action and competition and challenging each other. And we all express love in different ways, but the truth is so much of that becomes very low vibrational bullshit, where you just sort of get caught up in all the wrong things instead of the right things. And Aries in general does have a hard time finding a mate, a worthy mate. And there does seem to be a leveling out here, a really happy ending here. Not necessarily an ending, because you know endings are just beginnings, but definitely something happy happening here, a breakthrough. On the companionship front, and it has directly to do with decisions you made to not compromise. And it could have been totally unrelated romantically, but just something in your life you decided you were done. You were done making compromises. This is the card that stands out most. And its wisdom says that when this card shows up, there's going to be a series of events that happens that is all related to the fact that you did not compromise. You didn't compromise on something. You decided to believe in something, even though other people told you not to. You decided to believe in it. You committed yourself to it. And you basically, it was the long investment. It was the long-term investment. You stayed and you let the investment grow. 10-10. I just saw divine counterparts. It was a long-term investment that is basically starting to pay off here, right? Intuition, trusting your instincts. Knowing that there was value in something that other people maybe did not see value in. You trusted what you felt inside, even if it was just, just by love. This is emotional. This is making a decision with your heart, not your head. Didn't make any sense. Maybe people warned you against it. You were like, and it could, I have to say this, there was darkness here. It challenged your value. This decision initially made you feel or look like shit. It was a really big struggle. But in so many cases, it's like, it's what we make of it, right? But if I decide this is going to be good and I decide this is right for me, I'm going to make it right for me. I'm going to make it good. And you're the divine creator, right? The divine masculine. I'm going to make it good. Regardless of how people tried to tear you down, they could not deny that you showed up and that you really did a great job. This is putting your best on, even if it's like an underdog situation. You kind of like put on your best outfit and you showed up and you gave your best performance. And it's because of that you changed things, and you may have changed the whole game. Amazing what one person's conviction can do. But there is an awakening of that divine creative energy. Somebody woke that damn dragon. Look at that. That's beautiful. And this is a new beginning. You can see the full moon, a new moon right there. Creation. There's a new moon coming up in Capricorn. It's going to be a tough one. But this is about stick to your guns and don't compromise. Don't change. You already got the formula. Ride it out, even if shit starts exploding. You are the master of your destiny. Rise with dignity. Rise. Your whole reading is about you rising. A change just occurring in your life where you were once compromised. This could be a social change, some little luck that's coming to you socially, a buzz about you that is accepting, beneficial. But I think this is also just a sense of like good stuff happening, little trickling in, little bits, and essentially becoming a leader or being a friend. I also think this could mean you starting to stick up for and blaze trails in some ways for other people. But yeah, like a sense of like sticking up for other people. Seeing they're underdogs now in a sense of like sort of being a fierce friend to somebody and not taking anybody's bullshit, like standing up for the value of something that other people devalued. Let's just put it that way. But this is long-term happiness here. Bam! Happiness, abundance, success, triumph, long-term happiness. And it could very well be in this relationship, because you can't ignore this. When this is engagement ring. This is a long-term relationship. This is a happy relationship. This is a relationship that lasts well into the future. So this is a really abundant, wonderful, wonderful relationship that's making you very happy. And this happiness is guaranteed for long. This is two. Happiness for a long term. This is more success, though, sort of your soul purpose. And this is more, of course, I think, success in a relationship. But what I need to drive home, Aries, is that the two are related. I don't know how they're related, but they're related. I don't know if you met your soulmate at work, or the two of you decide to work on something together, or whatever it is. They're connected. Your career and your love life. How the hell did that happen? I don't know. Let's read in. You know what? I'm going to find out how that happened. That's the question I'm going to ask Tarot, is how did that happen? And what exactly is coming out of it? Squirrel energy. Always prepared. You are the expert of hard work and hard play. Squirrel. This is Virgo energy. So slow and steady, committed to work, working your ass off, working your tail off, working hard. You know, while everybody else is sitting back, you're going to work. You were working. You worked hard. You never gave up on this. You never gave up on your commitment to what you were creating or what you believed of the potential. You always saw the potential, and nobody could argue with you about it. Fat chance of arguing with an Aries anyway. Cat, independent. You don't need other people's approval. You never needed it. And that's one of the caveats. It's one of the most admirable things about Aries. You don't need other people's approval. You don't even sit there seeking it. But ultimately, it is, from an outside perspective, it is also what keeps you alone so often. And that's not a bad thing. Except that who likes to be alone? You know what I'm saying? Happy people like to be alone. It's okay to be single and alone. And I think that lots of times you are okay with being alone until you're not. And then it's like, okay, well then what do I do? Because so much is happening in my head right now. What you don't necessarily, what people who do well alone don't understand is the real reason why most people are together is not because they're happy together. It's because they're desperate and they need each other. It's sloppy. And now that is not something that Aries engages in or needs to until they fall in love. In which case they can become you guys can become very, very sloppy because you're just constantly fighting for a love that you refuse to accept, maybe isn't even really love. That could be the downside of your determination with relationships. But in general, you don't need the way everybody, not that you don't want a relationship, but that you don't need. There's no desperation. You don't reek of it. And then when you look around you and you see a lot of other people in relationships, and why am I still single? It's not because it's because you're not desperately asking to not be single in everything that you do. And that's why most people have somebody else. And they're not happy. Most people. They just need each other. But you don't need. So I don't think it's a bad thing, but I understand where it could lead to loneliness eventually. Because it's just like, first of all, everybody else is taken, right? And then second of all, just sort of like, how do you join a conversation that most people are having that you're not even interested in? You know, you don't want to be with somebody out of desperation. You want to be with somebody because they add something to your life, right? This card also comes up. I'll read you the phrase. Resources surround you. Be open to romance. You are swift and smart. Fox energy is about thinking on your feet. And you're asked to be flexible. You're asked to be malleable. You're asked to be not compromise. No. You're not compromising your standards. No. But you're asked to be flexible in terms of getting things done. Like, how do I make this work? Oh, I'm going to improvise. It's not necessarily planning way ahead or as you planned. It's just going with the flow and trusting the flow. You know, this is also a sense of Sagittarius energy. You could be with a Sagittarius, which is a very common companion for Aries. You guys work well together. But this is definitely divine counterparts. Divine counterparts. Let's look into your spirit guide messages. These are your animal totem messages. They usually clarify Aries. Oh, Scorpio here. This is a new life. new life that you're forging for yourself, a new way of being. You know, I think that this marks, this relationship or this opportunity marks an expansion of sorts, finally coming out of the cocoon, that stage in your life where you feel really complete and whole about yourself. This is butterfly energy, scorpionic energy, or transcendence, phoenix rising, rising out of the ashes to become something grander, something more beautiful, a more mature version of yourself. You know, which is why there's been so much pain for the past couple of years, because the cocoon is a very painful place. Everybody thinks it's so peaceful and protected. It's not. It's literally where the caterpillar digests itself and breaks down into nasty bitty parts to rebuild again. So it's a very painful process. And so I'm not surprised that you've been going through it. And anything that you could be going through right now could be still transitional. Could be those things in your life that you need to do to get yourself to a point where you're ready to fly. Right? But this is what you're looking for. And in other words, this is your commitment to insisting on flying and not giving up that idea. Even if you started from nothing. Set healthy boundaries. This is way in the past. So this is one of your first lessons in transition, is to realize that you had to start setting boundaries for people in your life. And at first they were too strict, or they came down too hard, or the walls came up too fast and they were too thick, because you were defensive, because you had to block other people out, and because you needed practice in setting boundaries. You didn't really ever think about it before or care about it. So this is difficult. This is Cancerian energy, but it's very unbalanced Cancerian energy, because it's sort of protecting yourself too much, you know, burdening yourself with boundaries, hiding behind walls, in which case you block yourself into, or cutting people out too quickly. You know, a sense of just trying to figure out, how do I set boundaries for myself? How do I make sure that they stay healthy and they stay good for me? You put your foot down. You just might have put it down really heavy. This is Libra energy, so this definitely has something to do with partnership. Trying to set boundaries in terms of what you wanted, to define what makes a good partner for you. Maybe setting boundaries with your current partner, and what works for you and what doesn't. This is Libra energy. Trying to find the diplomatic way to solve these problems, and to see the beauty, and to sort of fit in, sort of blend yourself in. This could very well have been you taking on too many burdens, and you hiding your emotions in order to try to blend in, try to pretend like everything was okay, everything was fine, when everything was not. And this was you. Completely and totally tethered, chained, whipped, and domesticated. All those things that Aries should never be. You were stuck. And you hated it. 23, I just saw. Could have been in a marriage. Could have been just a bad relationship, bad commitment, a bad job. Something to just, oh my God, you were fucking stuck. Until maybe a health issue. Something made you wake up. And it was catastrophic, I would think. This is Plutonian energy. So, you know, just a sense of something that was very destructive. So it could have been somebody's death, a health issue, something, one of those big things that would actually get your explosive attention, right? It's got to be big to get Aries' attention. So this was definitely something that really got your attention. I mean, 2020 offered a lot of wake-up calls for a lot of people. So it definitely probably got your attention, right? But this is definitely something that happened, bam. And as hard as it was, and very hurtful, there's a lot of pain here. It changed you. It gave you what you needed to realize those chains couldn't stay anymore. And then you were able to see a whole different life. All these different options that you never wanted to listen to or hear, because your stubbornness as well as your fear had you stuck in that bad place. Now all of a sudden you're realizing, whoa, There's all these other fucking options. This and that are true. It's almost like finding a middle ground. Also being more playful. Having fun, finally. Being able to have fun. Oh my God. Does everybody do this all the time? Yeah. Yeah. The burdens are released. I want to know exactly what's coming out of this. And so that's what I'm going to ask Tarot. What is next? We're going to get the details. That link is below. Also, that includes your romance-specific reading. These are your angel messages. Hang around for them. If you've enjoyed this video, please do like it and then subscribe to the channel. Help the channel grow, and also click that bell so that you get notified. I upload about 12 to 13 videos a week. So there's lots of content coming on this channel every single week. Sun, Moon, and Rising sign, Aries specific content comes out every single Thursday. But you know, Sun, Moon, Rising sign or other signs, lots of different content for you to enjoy. Also, there's always an extended, so you can subscribe directly to Vimeo as well. And then you'll get access to the extended videos about a day before the link appears on the YouTube. And then also my astrological forecasts, weekly astrological forecasts, I post them over there. And they're free all the time, even now. So you can go watch them anytime you want. And then join me on Instagram, because I usually go live there. And you can find me at Born_without_boundaries. I go live there all the time. Not right now. Brief message. I am not going live or doing any personal readings until further notice, simply because of my health. And if you want the scoop on everything that's going on with me personally, I'm going to include that in the extended reading this week as well. So, here we go. First of all, sacred source. We, your angels, are here to remind you of your magnificence. You are literally an angel in the making, a being of eternal love and light, forever one with God, Goddess, and all creation. You better get back up on that horse. This is getting back to your essence and what makes you really happy, because you got away from it, perhaps for a life. I feel like most of you guys, it was 10 years or more that you've been separated from like what you really love. Mindfulness. Be mindful of another's feelings and needs. Someone needs your love right now. A loving thought is all it takes. And I think that this is speaking to the fact that you now are in a position where you are going to be defending somebody else's honor. I just feel that way. Destiny. This is the card that really stood out. Your destiny is to blossom, to shine, to transform to ever greater light. And that's why major breakthroughs, I know, are coming your way over the next couple of months. And then last but not least, Archangel Sandalphon is here. I have heard your call for help. Your prayer will soon be answered. Bam! Let's go to tarot. The link is below. I'll see you guys there.